See if it comes up here. There it is. See if you can hear us. You can hear me? Say something, Pat.
What up, man?
Can you hear Pat?
Yep, I hear you, brother.
Okay. We good? Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm a little geeked up now. Sorry if looks a little weird. We're just learning some things on here, just doing my new time on Restream. So I'm a little excited, a little nervous. So if it looks kind of funny, y'all, you'll be okay. But hey, check this out. Big Game James here. We had an explosive show last night with my boy Jeff Kavanaugh, Heffrey. Now I got my boy Patrick Conn on here, and we're going to talk some more football. He does not just Cowboys football. He does them Longhorns, that hook 'em horns, baby, and they ain't been looking too good. So we ain't going to talk about them right now because that's just another depressing thing, especially where we're talking about defense. But before we go any further, I'll talk about anything. What's up, Patrick? You did a show with me about a year ago. Tell everybody about what you do, where they can find you, and then we'll jump right into this.
I do a little bit of everything, man. I do Longhorns. I do podcasts for Longhorns. I do podcasts on Cowboys Beat with Ari Temkin. Of course, I write for WFAA, cover the NFL draft 24/7 for Draft Wire. So, man, I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a little bit of everything. Best way to reach me, obviously, is going to be on Twitter.
There it is. Well, go find this man. If you're a Longhorns fan, go find this man. This man talks the talk and he walks the walk, all that good stuff. And he got a lot of knowledge, and we're about to talk a lot about that right now. Let me give a few shout outs to everybody's in the building right quick, Pat, and then we'll go and jump into a few things. Shout out to my boo thing, Andrew Jackson, what's good? KMT, hey ho, Kid Roscoe, Art Lugo, the Ninja, what's good with you? Vondell Jackson, Ready Red, keep them coming on in. Shout out to everybody that's on my Facebook feed. I'll get to everybody, but we do appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit. Well, we're going to talk a lot about Cowboys football and then this upcoming matchup with the New York Football Giants. So without further ado, let's talk about some quick news that happened. Randy Gregory did some practicing, in a small sense. He's back with the team. He'll be eligible for the Washington Redskins game. Also, Anthony Brown and Cheeto Awuzie will be coming off the injured reserve. They obviously let go of Brandon Carr. They're going to need this help from Randy Gregory for sure, the way this is playing in hell. We was talking dogging Anthony Brown, but shit, we need him right now and some Cheeto. But kind of give me your thoughts on those players coming back into the fold and Brandon Carr release. What's your kind of thoughts about that?
Oh, the Brandon Carr one kind of shocked me a little bit because of what they needed coverage. When you look at kind of the way that Darryl Worley looked on Sunday, you look at some of the other guys. I mean, Trevon Diggs is going to you're going to have growing pains with him. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a rookie, but he's your best defender. Really, it really looks like when you talk about that back end. I don't really know when you look at this defense, like who stands out, especially in the secondary. So Anthony Brown coming back is huge. I think that's monster. Cheeto coming back. I know we all like to dog Cheeto for being the almost player. He's almost in good enough position. He's almost there to make a play. So when you look at some of those guys, it's going to be huge to have them back. And then you look at linebacker position, they really need the help. Sean Lee, Leighton Vander Esch, where are we at with him? He's eventually going to be back, hopefully, soon. I mean, I know he has a broken collarbone, but they need him if you look at that team. Pass rush, Randy Gregory, it might be a deal where maybe they get rid of Everson Griffin because he hasn't looked good at all.
Right.
When you look at him, and I mean, he didn't like the fact that Jeff Kavanaugh called him out, but based on how he looked against Cleveland, it sounded like Jeff Kavanaugh was dead on.
It didn't sound like a big dog. It sounded like he was right.
Yeah, it sounded like he was right. Where's your where's your big plays there? So you look at that and you're like, okay, Randy Gregory, maybe he can give you something on the pass rush. Alden Smith obviously is your best pass rusher right now. I know a lot of people want a dog tank, and I understand. he doesn't have the sacks, right? And that's what everybody's getting mad about. But I mean, he is getting into the backfield. He is getting some pressure. Now, is it good enough? Well, obviously not, because they're losing football games because they can't stop anybody on defense. So they're not creating turnovers, which is something that we're used to year in and year out. I will tell you this right now. They are on pace to be one off of the NFL record for futility. If you look at it through 4 games, they have there are 2 turnovers created. It would turn out to be 8 by the end of the season, the worst ever. 2018 San Francisco 49ers, they produced 7 turnovers. So that just tells you how bad it is for the Dallas Cowboys defense right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is bad, and we all know it's bad. Like, it's historically bad. It's Monty Kiffinish bad right now. You know what I'm saying? When we saw them bringing when they brought in old-ass Monty Kiffin, he was like 80 years old already. I was pissed because I just felt like this is going to be an outdated thing, and it's really bad. Now, you got Mike Nolan, and I'll be the first to tell you, I wasn't jumping up and down about the Mike Nolan acquisition, but I was like, let's see what it is, because, he has a reputation of blitzing, even though only blitzed like 16% of the time so far. It was up to 23. It dropped lower than that after this game against Cleveland. But a lot of people, Mike Nolan has come under fire in 4 weeks. People are already calling for his head. The tweets are already out about Wade Phillips being around there. What do you think is wrong with Mike Nolan? Is it his scheme, or the players really playing for him? Because when I seen Rob Marinelli, and I'm not jumping back to say, oh, let's get Rob Marinelli back, because I'm not on that. But what I will say was, when I did watch the Rob Marinelli defense, I will say the players, even though I would get frustrated with that defense, they wouldn't give up big points, and he was not ever going to let them get behind the defense. He was never going to give up big gains. That was his thing. We're not giving up the big gains. Now, I came in with this new system thinking, if you're attacking more, if you're going hard more, if you're sending different kind of defenders, if you're blitzing a lot, you're going to give up plays. But that's not happening. You get what I'm saying? And these plays, giving up 36.5 yards a game, I think you made that post as well. You're giving up that many points, and you're not blitzing. You're not doing these things. What do you think is going on with Mike Nolan? Do you think it's outdated? Players giving up on him? What's your kind of thoughts on this Mike Nolan thing?
I didn't think he should have been hired in the first place, to tell you the truth. You look at the way it ended in Atlanta, bottom 5 in defense and yards allowed per game, bottom 5 in points allowed per game. This is one of those things where Mike McCarthy gave his buddy a job, and right now it could cost him his. When you look at this defense, and I think Richard Sherman put it best. They're too multiple, but they're not good at anything. I mean, they talk about wanting to do 3-4-4-3. But what are you good at? And right now it's nothing. And that's the big problem. They can't rush the passer. Their linebackers are so confused, they don't know what to do from play to play. Jalen, I honestly think he needs to be sitting on the bench, because he's more of a liability than anything. And then we talked about in the secondary. They're so hurt right now. They're playing guys off the street, it seems like. So the secondary is terrible. And I think all of it has to do with the fact that they can't generate any pressure up front. And let me just say, if I had to point to one guy on the defensive front that's really killing them right now, it's Dontari Poe.
Yeah,
he's not doing anything, and so he's kind of just there. I'm like, I understand he's a big guy, but put Antoine Woods in there. At least I'm going to get effort out of him. Let Neville Gallimore figure it out. They haven't had him. I know a lot of people want to say, let's go get Snacks, but he's going to Seattle. It's looking like. So, I just look at Poe, and I don't understand it. And then you look at Tank. He's, I said it. I mean, he's getting pressure, but it's not good enough. Alden Smith is your best guy. And if Alden Smith's not getting pressure, nobody's getting to the quarterback. So I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk to you about this D-Law thing, because I had some strong feelings about D-Law. One thing about with D-Law, I have never, like I said before, I've never questioned his effort, his go-hardness. I have never questioned that, because I don't ever think he's taking plays off. I don't feel like he's that individual. But the fact still remains, and I said this, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Since he's came in the league since 2014, he's been hurt every single year. There's been a year that he's never not been hurt, okay? And first year, you had the broken foot. You came back in the middle of the year, your rookie season, no sacks. 2015, he didn't get 8 sacks until the end of the year. He went first like 8 games sackless. Okay, and then he went on that run, and then we know he also had the suspension, and then once again injuries, back injuries, limited him 2016. But at the end of the day, he jumped out there and said, "I'm a 10 sack guy. This is what I am. Contract year, you get 14 and a half." And then even then, the Cowboys still said, "Prove it." They didn't give you a deal after the 14 and a half sacks. They said, "Prove it again." So he came back with 10 and a half sacks, right? Now, after that, you have 5 sacks. Now, I really feel like Marinelli showcased him for them 14 and a half sacks so he could get his money, because I feel like Ron Marinelli really liked Tank. So I feel like he really highlighted his skills to be able to let him get loose. Okay. Now, but even in the last year, you only got 5.5. And in 7 years of you being there, you're averaging 5 sacks a game. My thing is, you're making $21 million and you're getting mad at the fans. What really needs to happen? Because now you got a knee injury. I don't feel like you gonna get better healthy. You 28 years old going on 29. Your body ain't gonna all of a sudden start getting healthy and not breaking down. Your body is breaking down. So are we starting to see the end of a Tank Lawrence, is his run in Dallas? Because I know they have an out. I think 2021 they have an out on him. Do you think this is coming to the end of D-Law, or should they, if he doesn't come out of this, what's the prognosis for him?
Yeah, I think that's the $20 million question, right? Because that's what he's making per season, and you don't pay that, or a team shouldn't pay that for just pressure. He's got to create sacks, and that's the one thing is I come out and I've been one of those guys that defends him a lot, but when he comes down, he's cussing out the fans and getting mad after fans say the same thing that he said to his teammates about them being soft.
Right.
It's kind of hard to defend him. It's like, well, you know what? The fact of the matter is they're not getting the sacks that they paid for from them. They're not getting that pressure that they need from him, and you can clearly see they can't stop anybody. We talked about it, 36.5 points per game this year. Take out, let's just look at the last 3. 42 points a game is what they're giving up. 42. Yeah. You're not going to beat anybody like that. And so when you look at this defense, they've got to find a way. I don't care what it is. Create turnovers. Do something to help out your offense. Offense needs to help out the defense, too. Don't get me wrong. They're not above criticism here. But when you're looking at this defense, they're not doing anything to help that offense either, when you're constantly having to go a full field. So, when I look at this defense as a whole, and it starts with Tank, they've got to be better at creating pressure, at getting to the quarterback. And by the way, there's a quarterback that they're about to play that likes to turn the ball over, so they're going to need to start doing it, and it starts on Sunday.
Yeah, it's definitely got to start, and it's got to start soon. Because here's the thing: Baker Mayfield's a turnover-prone quarterback, and what happened? You get what I'm saying? He threw 35 interceptions his first 2 years, and we didn't get 1 interception from him. No pressures, didn't seem like, no sacks. Okay, now I will say Bill Callahan was over there running that offensive line over there in Cleveland.
I'll tell you,
he got a bone to pick with Dallas, so he always going to go hard on Dallas.
That's what I said when I saw it. I said Bill Callahan is sticking it to the Cowboys.
He's going to stick it to the. That's personal. That's always personal. So when Callahan probably seen that matchup, he was licking them chops, and he's one of the best offensive line coaches I've seen. Since I've been watching NFL, and he just has those guys like poetry in motion, man. And it was just more, not just skill. They was this they were just out physical in us. And I went back, I made a post yesterday. I just think, for real, dog, and I'm guilty of this, we just overhyped this defense, bro. It's just a bunch of average players. Like I said, you got Alden Smith, but he's just now coming off of 5 years. But we got average players. Jalen Smith is average, dog. He's not a difference-making linebacker, and that's nobody's hating on that. Nobody's trying to hate on him, but they paid him like a difference-making linebacker, which we'll talk about them up top in a minute. But you paying the wrong players, don't you think? They talked about you could have signed Byron Jones. They let him walk. You paid Jalen Smith. You paid other people. They talk about paying Ezekiel Elliott. Players that, are they really making the difference? You're paying a $15 million running back, but he's not making a difference on the team. I'm not hating on Zeke, but he's not making a difference on the team, and he's getting $15 million a year.
Yeah, no, you're right, though. Byron Jones is the guy that I harped on a lot last year. And again, the question of it's the same thing. He doesn't create turnovers. Well, you know what? He doesn't let the receiver catch the ball either. And if he does, he doesn't get very far. He was one of the best cover corners, and they let him go because they didn't want to pay him because he didn't create turnovers. Okay. Well, nobody on this defense could create turnovers. It seemed like the one guy that could create turnovers, they let him go. And I know a lot of people didn't like him in Jeff Heath, but at least Jeff Heath gave you heart. He gave you effort. And, he would get you some turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just feel like, reason why this is not happening, I just feel like this defense is regular. And as I said before, when we play super talented teams, they're going to put it to us unless we scheme them right or guys stay disciplined. I think that's another thing. And I want to bring up Xavier Woods. That's another thing that we've been talking about as guys. And listen, they've talked about Jalen Smith and Xavier Woods being some of the people that were playing the hero ball. They were playing the freelance ball, doing what they kind of wanted to or doing what they felt more accustomed to. And it's hurt us. And when we're talking about Xavier Woods, he comes out there and say, man, everybody, you can't play 100% hard all the time. That's just not possible. And people have a bone to pick. And I showed a video from Darius Butler, and it was crazy. And we was talking when they showed Jarvis Landry doing a one-on-one with Xavier Woods, and he didn't want no parts of it. And my thing is, Xavier Woods was supposed to be that guy. And now you're in your contract year and you're playing like this. I mean, do I feel like you already feel like your time is up here? Because the effort that I'm seeing from him, even though he has been rated good in Pro Football Focus, when you see things on the field, it's like, wow, what's really going on with this dude?
Xavier Woods is one of those guys that I've heard about, and people say, oh, Xavier Woods, he's going to be good. Just give him some time. We've given him 3-4 years now. And I've yet to see the good. I think that Woods is a good role player. Mm-hmm. He's not a guy I want starting on my defense, especially when I hear him come out and say things like, you can't give hard effort 100% of the time. I'll tell you this right now. Any coach that hears that, you're benched because they're not going to listen to that. Now, maybe he doesn't get benched because, honestly, who's behind him? Who are you going to play behind him? Mm-hmm. I mean, you just benched Darian Thompson to play
Donovan Wilson.
Yeah, his name always escapes me. But, I mean, you got Wilson. I think Wilson is a guy that should have been playing before now. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, that previous staff didn't want to play him. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. But
this staff wasn't letting him play either until Thompson was just playing like straight trash, which I'm not saying he's a trash player, but come on, dog. Nobody ever thought, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, damn, HaHa Dix was that damn bad that Darian Thompson beat him out. And here's the thing. I give the new staff credit because in that Seattle game, when Terrence Steele, now we're going to talk about that right quick, when Terrence Steele was getting his ass whooped, well, he's been getting his ass whooped every game. But when he was getting his ass whooped, I give him props because guess what? They say, hey, Zach Martin, kick your ass out here at right tackle. You know what I'm saying? So we can get this calmed down a little bit. Tyler Biadasz going here. I know Looney had a little bit of injury, but Biadasz jump in there. I liked how they did it. But it's almost like you come out there, Joe Philbin, you a 20-year coach, head coach. Offensive line coach mixed in with head coach. You got a lot of experience. What is telling you that Terrence Steele can still do this by himself? What is telling you that? You did that. You made the adjustment. Then you come back in the next week. Okay. If he's getting pressure from like a Benson Mayowa and no-name guys like that, what do you think a Myles Garrett was going to do when you saw him one-on-one and you were getting help with Tyron Smith, just like things like that. And then Darian Thompson gives up a touchdown. Then you put in Donovan Wilson. You get what I'm saying? It's like, why do you have to let him get the touchdown before you put him in? Why do you have to let Dak get sacked 2 times and then get a strip fumble and then all of a sudden they're in the lead? Let's make the adjustment. I like that you made the adjustment, but you couldn't see that from the very beginning that these guys just ain't it.
I'll tell you, the very first game of the year, when I heard that Terrence Steele was going to be starting at right tackle, my first thought was, yikes.
Right.
Everybody's thought. I saw this guy at Texas Tech.
Right.
He couldn't block there.
No.
He wasn't going to get any better.
No.
You talk about a guy, he's top heavy, he's got slow feet, and his hand placement isn't good. That's all the things that you cannot have in an offensive lineman. And so you're going to stick him out there against Myles Garrett, and you're not going to give him any help. good luck. You're going to get your quarterback killed.
That's arrogant. That's arrogance.
Yeah, and so you put Brandon Knight out there, and what happened?
And you
it was
knew
better.
And right, here's the thing, big dog. You knew, okay, the tape didn't show you Brandon Knight's better. Okay, he may not be as athletic as a Terrence Steele, but you didn't see he wasn't better. You didn't see that it calmed down when he fights. He's not the most, but he fights. He fights every single play. That's what I want out there. I want somebody who's going to fight he's like an old Doug Free. Now, Doug Free had all them penalties and shit like that. But guess what? Brandon Knight fights. I feel more comfortable when you put a Brandon Knight in there. Like, okay, at least we'll be able to get this thing moving. Little things like that from this coaching staff is like peculiar to me because I'm thinking, who is really is doing this? So somebody can't come over and say, "Hey, man, dog, why ain't the head coach?" I love Mike McCarthy. Where you going over there? Why ain't you? Why you playing Terrence Steele? He been getting work. No, Brandon Knight starting here. Why ain't that coach coming over there and saying that? When we all can step back there and see that this kid ain't ready, dog. He ain't never showed he was ready. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Jalen Smith, like you said. I know he's making 12, 13 million. But if Sean Lee, and here's the thing, I don't even want Sean Lee back. But now I feel like we need him back. If I had a choice between Sean Lee and Jalen Smith right now, and I don't even want Sean Lee because he's injury prone, but I'll take a Sean Lee right now over a Jalen Smith starting because guess what? I know he's better mentally, football IQ. Yes, he gets hurt, but on his athletic ability as far as twitching, turning, opening his hips, being able to move laterally, be able to diagnose plays, see things quickly. I'd rather have that in the lineup and feel better than having a Jalen Smith in there. And I'd rather have the Smith come off the bench. Even though you're making that money, it can't just be about the money every time. You got to make these big decisions now before the season's lost.
I'll tell you this right now. Why would I want Sean Lee over Jalen? Well, Jalen has come out and said his defense is too complex. They need to dumb it down. But here's the problem. Jalen Smith is the one relaying all the calls. And if he doesn't understand it, how do I expect my defense to understand it? The one thing about Sean Lee, he's the defensive coordinator on the field. He can make all the checks. He can make all the changes. And the fact that once he's healthy, he knows the plays. He's like a coach on the field. He knows their tendencies. He knows what they're going to do. So it's not the fact that Sean Lee is so much better athletically than anybody. It's because he's so much ahead of them mentally. He gets there before a much faster player because he doesn't process in the same speed. But I agree with you 100%. And we talk about the coaching arrogance. I'm going to bring up one that you didn't bring up.
Please,
there's no reason that Joe Looney should be starting over Tyler Biadasz.
Dog, that's another one I said.
Not at all. I watched Joe Looney, and you know what? He did good in 2018.
He's a career backup.
But he is a career backup. He's okay if you need him. My problem is Tyler Biadasz is so much better.
Better.
And the reason why I say that is because if you watch him, he does what we call look for work. So once he gets his block, he's off to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking, can I find a linebacker? Can I find it kind of reminded me of watching Lyle Collins when he played, when he would go on those runs where he would get to the second, third level. I felt bad for some of those cornerbacks that had to go up against him, because they're giving up 150 pounds to him. But those are the things that you like, and those are the things that they need for this offense. They need those type of guys. I think that's the only concern I have with the offense. I was concerned about Dalton Schultz, but he's proven that, and this is the terrible thing, and I hate to say this, but Dalton Schultz is proving that Jason Witten was holding this offense back.
Oh, we knew that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told you.
Right,
I love Witten, but yeah, it's time to get his ass out of there, dog. Nobody's hating. Time to get his ass out there. But come on, dog. Come on, big dog. Dalton Schultz ain't nobody, though. He ain't nobody to be jumping up and down with because he drops passes. He dropped a touchdown against Seattle. So he's a regular player. He ain't nobody special.
But he's doing good. He's doing
all
good.
right.
I would say he's good because the reason why I say that is you don't have to rely on him because you got three really good receivers that should be getting the focus.
True story.
I think offensively, I want to know why does Ezekiel Elliott have the second most targets on this team?
Because he makes $15 million. Well, let's just you know what? Why you say that? Let's just talk about, because I think this is the real reason why all this is happening. It starts with the top. It starts with the top. It starts with Jerry and it starts with Steven. And I'm gonna get your thoughts because I've asked a lot of people. My guy Law Nation, we've talked about this, and he came out in the game Sunday and said, "I don't just Jerry and Steven just ain't football guys," and I agree with them. Now, Steven, I don't know what made people think he's a football guy just because he was raised around his daddy. He never showed anything to be a football guy. Now he be on that money, but it seems like he hurts us with the money. We didn't get Ron Leary because of money. We probably didn't get other people that we wanted. I don't know why the hell Snacks Harrison didn't even. That's crazy. But it's always, no, we don't want to spend on this, and we feel good about that. And then you got Jerry jumping out there saying, hey, Jalen Smith's okay, and we're all right. We're going to be okay. Dog, it's not looking okay, at least on the defensive side. I feel you on what you're talking about on the offense. I don't have too many concerns on that offense. But just like what you say, why does Ezekiel have that many attempts passing? You're getting... Bro, why? Because he's $15 million. But I think it all goes back to Jerry and Steven. It's fundamentally broken on top because if you look at all the stats prior, these same things happened.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
You're
talking about Jerry Jones and Steven, and really, I'm not even going to talk about Jerry because I think this is Steven, and that's the big thing. And we've talked about it year in and year out. Why didn't they go get Earl? Okay, well, maybe there were some, locker room issues. That's the reason why they didn't go get Earl. There's a reason why other places haven't gone to get Earl. I get that. But a Snacks, there's no reason why they shouldn't at least picked up the phone. But they believe in their guys.
Right.
We believe in the guys that are here.
I think it's arrogance all the way around.
I mean, if you saw what I said on Twitter when I heard that, I said, believe in your guys is tired. Because believing in your guys is what got you in the spot you're in right now. You're looking at a 1-3. Now, are they out of it?
No,
not even close. Because this defense is terrible, or this division is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The best team in the division is 1-2-1, record-wise, and they're not the best team.
Right.
They the reason why Dallas is where they are is because their defense is horrible. Yes, they finally did do something, and they went and tried to pick up some players to help the defensive line. Well, Poe wasn't what we thought he would be. Gerald McCoy got injured before he could even get on the field. So that's a big thing. But now we're seeing these issues now, and they still won't do anything.
Right.
So yeah, it's arrogance, and maybe it's we're saving money for this and that down the road.
Whatever. I don't believe that shit no more. I ain't even trying to cuss, but I just don't believe that. I don't believe anything they say any longer, because I just feel like they just say stuff for the Cowboys fans just to shut the hell up. Just like I said yesterday, when they got Dontari Poe, that was for Cowboys fans to shut the hell up about Snacks Harrison because we all wanted Snacks Harrison. As I said again last night. Snacks Harrison, Dontari Poe. It ain't close to me, in my opinion. Did they not see with Snacks Harrison when he played with the New York Giants, how he used to kick our ass on defense? Do he see how he used to manhandle our offense, even with our top players with Zach Martin Zach Martin and Travis Frederick? He was still giving them guys fit. You feel me? And he's sitting out there living in Dallas saying, I want to come here. I would love to be in Dallas. We don't even look at him. But then Dallas, they say, you know what? We want to shut these fans up because we tired of, we don't have Marinelli. See, the Cowboys think they slick. Okay. Cowboys think they slick. They get rid of Marinelli, and Marinelli never gets the big guys, right? So what do they do to shut us up? Oh, we got a big fat boy in Dontari Poe. I was only excited about it because we didn't get Snacks Harrison, so at least we got somebody. But when you went to the stats last year, like I went and checked, and I went and watched Carolina, like I said, 27th ranked run defense. They were giving up 142 yards a game, averaging 5.2 yards a carry with both McCoy and Poe starting in the middle. So that's telling you right there, they were regular. They weren't great over there, okay? Now, I wish we had a McCoy because maybe he could have did a little better. But Poe came over there from the hype. But he's came over there basically as an average player coming over to an average defense, and it's just made it average. And now he's playing below average, and you were already average over there. You come over here and below average. So what do you think this defense is going to be? It ain't going to be good. It ain't even going to be close to great. My thing is, what can happen from this defense, in your opinion, to get on track? I know we said the turnovers, this and that, but what's one of the main things? Would you fire a Mike Nolan in the season?
If I thought it would motivate this team, yeah, absolutely, I'd fire him. I don't think he should have been hired in the first place.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Who has the power? Because when I said we talked about Jason Garrett being the yes man, right? We can't stand Jason because he never stands up to Jerry. He's a yes man. Mike McCarthy comes in, right? Where is Mike McCarthy really calling his own shots up in here, dog? Because they kept Tyrone Crawford. Do I know if Mike McCarthy wanted to keep a old-ass Tyrone Crawford that's making $9 million a year and ain't doing jack poo? Or even Sean Lee, who we need right now, but he didn't practice all damn camp and had a roster spot. You get what I'm saying? And then how do you know if maybe McCarthy says, I want to see what was up with Earl or see this, and then Jerry and them saying, nah, we don't want them, or Stephen Jones, we're good. Mike McCarthy going to stand up and say, oh, I want that guy. No, he's not saying nothing. He's going with the flow. So is he low-key a yes man too in this?
Is Kellen Moore your offense coordinator?
Exactly. They didn't get rid of Kellen Moore neither. You know why? Jerry
I look
said,
at it the same way. I look at it the same way when they hired Wade Phillips. He had an offense coordinator in place before he had a head coach. So I mean, it's the same thing, and I don't even get upset about that. The thing that I get upset about is seeing that you're having trouble on defense and you do nothing to address it. Now, how do they fix this defense? The first thing they got to do is get healthy. I think there's no other way to get around it. They've got to get healthy. They've got to start getting some of these guys back who can play, because right now you're trying to hold it down with these guys. And as you saw in the last game, you talked about Poe and bottom five defense in Carolina. You just gave up 300 yards rushing. That happens once.
To backups to the backups.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you had Chubb and Hunt just run all over you.
Chubb was out. He got hurt in the first damn quarter.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and Kareem Hunt. Yeah, Hunt had a groin injury, so they was running Deontay Johnson. I ain't never even heard of this dude, and he had 95 yards. Then they had a four-string running back coming in running hard on that defense. That's freaking embarrassing. I don't care what they try to spend on scheme or none of that. A third-string running back coming in almost getting 100 on you? That's ridiculous. So, I'm gonna just keep it real, dog. I really don't know. The only thing to me is if you're gonna keep a Mike Nolan, only thing you can do is get healthy and just have the effort. Because when I seen these plays, to me, it hasn't been schemed. When I seen some of them plays that they got on us in Seattle, when they got on us in Atlanta, and even got on us against the Browns, I didn't see scheme. I saw effort. I saw players doing what they wanted to do, and they're still basically going back and doing the same thing. And there needs to be some kind of a shakeup around here so people can understand that, look, we mean business. This is what it is. And if we're trying to get this season, this is what's going to have to happen. You don't like it, then go on over here. We're going to get people to do. I need some of that. I mean, Tom Coughlin, them guys, they went ham when people was talking about firing him and it was the season's over and then they go on a run. I mean, does it look like we can really go on a run?
Well, yes. I know it sounds crazy.
Tell me. I'm going to listen to anything positive right now.
They've got to pick a defense and go with it. Figure out what you do. You need an identity because you ain't got one. And so I say 4-3, 3-4. Pick one and run with it. You have the personnel to do it. Just do it. And that's my big thing. They've got to pick with one. Because right now, it's to the point, there's so much pressure on Dak Prescott right now.
Oh, my God.
He's having to be perfect for this team because they have nothing on defense. You give me nothing on special teams. And, Bones is supposed to come in here and fix the special teams, but I'm not seeing it.
Right.
I mean, you'll fake punt it, but then you got Chris Jones' noodle arm over there who can't complete a little out pass to, C.J. Goodwin. So special teams not doing anything, defense is not doing anything, and then you expect Dak Prescott to score every drive.
Yeah, and that's really it's unfair to him because the way this Cowboys base is, the way they hate him so much, some of them hate him so much, he can't do no wrong. And it's almost like a setup to him, in my opinion. Like, damn, you just making it because you already know the fan base is going off on him. You don't know that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones? Y'all don't know that the Cowboys fan base always going ham on him. So anything that you is doing to not help him out is this more dogging him. And this is supposed to be your franchise guy. You're supposed to be helping this man out. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the way you want. You didn't give him a contract, which was a bunch of BS talking about the COVID and all that dumb shit. Ain't no damn COVID. I don't want to hear that crap. And then he comes out and he's still balling through all this. You get what I'm saying? And we're still looking like this. So I don't really know what's going to happen, but let's switch it over to the New York Giants. Giants coming in. They're not good at all. But guess what? We're not that good either. And if Dallas doesn't come in here with, in my opinion, with a desperate mindset, it could happen with a loss. So they better not come in there like, oh, this is just the Giants. We're the Cowboys. We're going to beat them. No, they better not come in with that mentality because they can lose. Because if you're getting handled by third string running backs, bruh, Deion Lewis may run all over y'all asses.
He might. I mean, obviously the thing you got to look at right now is there's no Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So that's their big weapon. You got a quarterback who turns the ball over a lot, Daniel Jones. He has trouble holding on to the football. But the thing is, the Dallas Cowboys got to get to the quarterback. Right. And I'll just tell you this right now: if they have trouble with this offensive line, we got bigger issues.
Oh, it's dog because this different offensive line ain't good at all.
No, and they're young, and so you look at that and you look at the inexperience going up against some of these guys, a Tank and Alden Smith, Everson Griffin. Those guys, they should be getting to the quarterback. So when they look at this game, if they can't get to the quarterback, we got problems. We got a lot of problems.
And because, like I said, they're 0-4. Their rankings are not real good at all. So what do you think that the Cowboys need to do to really win this game against the Giants? What's some of the keys on defense with, Daniel Jones? Like I said, they got Lewis, Golden Tate is on the team, Slayton. Obviously, they got Ingram, tight end. He's pretty good. They got some weapons. What do you think the keys for Dallas are first to attack this offense to really, get some pressure, get some turnovers? What do you think the Cowboys need to do?
Sorry about that. I was probably choking because thinking about how terrible this offense is. Yeah, so looking at this offense, the one thing that they got to do is they got to attack offensive line. They got to go after the young guys. They got to go with stunts. They got to confuse them. Stunts, twists, whatever you got to do. Blitzing for different levels. That's what they got to do. When you look at that's the best way to attack this offensive line because with Jason Garrett offense, they want to run the ball, but they're probably going to get behind, so they're going to have to throw. And that's where it kind of feeds into what the Cowboys want them to do. They want them to be one-dimensional so they can focus on that. The problem being, who's going to play coverage? Because if Anthony Brown's back, I feel a lot better against the Golden Tate, against some of these guys. But if it's Trayvon Diggs and
Darryl Worley,
he hasn't looked and everybody's favorite, the ball god, Jordan Lewis, he don't do anything. So if it's those guys, I'm worried. That's the sad part is you're looking at a team that's 0-4. You shouldn't be worried about them.
Shouldn't be worried at all. And I'm feeling you the same way. Like if Anthony Brown is healthy, I can't believe I'm saying if Anthony Brown is healthy, let's start him. I can't believe that's coming out my damn mouth. If Anthony Brown is healthy, start him. You feel me? Because I was hyping up Darryl Worley and man, he just hasn't been doing it at all. I mean, he hasn't been doing it at all. And like we said, Jordan Lewis, the ball guy, it's been a lot of hype. It just has. It's been a lot of hype, and it hasn't been a lot of things going on as far as action on the field. And then Cheeto, like you said, the almost guy. When we look at that 2017 class from defensive side, man, that was the class that was supposed to be the next generation of players for us, the building blocks, the cornerstones. But when I look at this defense, it looks like we got to scrap it and start it all over again.
I mean, that's kind of how it feels right now. But I think with Diggs, you have a building block.
I like Diggs. I love Diggs.
What
do you think about Tristan Hill?
I'm not a fan.
You don't think he's improved a little bit more? I mean,
yes, he has improved. Don't get me wrong. I just get a little upset when y'all bring up Tristan Hill because I think one Thornhill.
No, yeah, you gotta let that go, though.
Yeah, I know.
I know. You gotta let that go.
It's kind of like anytime somebody brings up Taco, I get upset because I'm like, T.J. Watt could have been here and he could have helped us pass.
Hey, Taco got 2 sacks though.
Got more than Tank.
Just saying.
Players
leave us. Defensive players leave us and succeed. I'm just
saying. Didn't Brandon Carr leave and succeed?
Yeah, I mean, Terrence Mitchell was on the Browns starting. I mean, there's a lot of players that leave Dallas and succeed.
I think a good portion of that Chiefs defense came from the Cowboys.
Damian Wilson, Anthony Hitchens, Travarius Ward, Terrence Mitchell was on the team for a little bit before he went to the Browns. They got hella Cowboys. Taco Charlton. And the Browns got hella Cowboys. They just picked it. We just got rid of Brandon Carr, and they just picked him up. Now, if Brandon Carr goes over there and plays good, I'm going to be mad as shit.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't even get on the field. He played 21 snaps.
So and my dog Law brought this up, and he said that that Brandon Carr signing was just for, and it was, to me, just for us to shut up about Earl Thomas. All right, we got a safety. We got somebody in here, but that was just for us to leave kind of the Earl Thomas thing alone. And you didn't even use him.
Raven, okay? You signed the wrong former Raven.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I buy into that. I mean, but I get it, the frustration level and everything. But when I look at this Giants team, that's what I look at. Defensively, Dallas has to confuse that offensive line, especially because they're so awful. I mean, we're talking about a team that's 32nd in the NFL in scoring. So if they're scoring on this defense, you better start hitting that panic button.
Yeah, because they're only averaging like 11 points, I think, a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's dead last in the NFL. And so if they're scoring on this defense, we've got major problems. And then offensively, just keep beating Lamb. I mean,
do you think this, what you were talking about, Ezekiel Elliott, do you think this is a game since the Giants defense, I mean, they are rated kind of decent, but do you think this is a game where they try to force it to Zeke?
I think the thing with Zeke, if they want to get him the ball, they got to get a lead.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the fewest snaps in the NFL with a lead. I think it's like 8. So that tells you they've been playing behind all year long. That's why Ezekiel Elliott hadn't really been running the ball, and I know a lot of people want to get upset about it. They're not running the ball because they're down 20 points in the first half. They were down 20-0 in the first quarter against Atlanta. They were down 41-14 against the Browns. They're not getting to establish the run, as they would like to say. They're not getting to run the football because they're playing from behind, and that's not complimentary football.
Zeke's got to play better, though, too. I mean, you had 3 fumbles in 4 games, lost 2. You had 3 drop passes in 4 games already. And my thing is, you had 3 drop passes in 1 damn game. You get what I'm saying? There was 5 drop passes in that Seattle game. He's got to play better because it's like he has a big run. Dallas is coming right back into it, and then you fumble, dog. Like, you can't do that, to me, in my opinion, as the $15 million back.
No, I mean, he needs to protect the football better, a lot better. And that's cost them. And like I said, when your defense isn't creating turnovers,
you can't make mistakes.
And when your defense can't stop nobody,
mm-hmm.
you can't give them any. And that's the reason why that Browns game got away from them early on. It's because they had the fumble, and then so the Browns go down, they score. Dallas gets the ball again. Zeke runs that long run, and then he fumbles, and they go down and score again. And now you're looking at 28-14. And then you go into the half down 31-14, so it's those things. They can't afford for their offense to stumble at all because that defense is so poor.
Here's my thing. This is just kind of my thought with it. If this defense is playing this bad, do we really want to see this team in the playoffs?
I mean, I think you always want to see your team do well.
You do, but I mean, with this historically bad defense, you really think they can? Because we can't get in the playoffs because the division is so bad. I mean, you can win the division because the division is so trash, but we still got some formidable opponents coming up. You still got the Steelers getting ready to come up. The Cardinals are no chopped liver, especially with Kyler Murray running, that little midget dude running everywhere. Dog, he'd run the hell all over. I think he would run for 100 himself. That'd be a game where You feel me? Where Dallas always setting records with people, that'd be a record. And Kyler Murray, first quarterback in blah blah years, run 400 on Dallas. We're that guy, and we still got the Niners. I don't care if they lost to the Eagles. Everybody plays Dallas hard. You still got the Ravens. You know what I mean? You got teams that are going to give you some problems, and if that defense doesn't clean it up, my worry is, let's say you have a 7-9 or 8-8 record, you get in, that defense is still not playing good. That don't sound like you're going to make a run to me, because y'all ain't stopping nobody. I'm not trying to look too far in the future, dog. But, man, just a lot of things are bothering me. Like, how does this get cleaned up when the talent is not really there? You get what I'm saying? The talent isn't.
I think you're judging the defense on who's on the field right now when you've got guys that are coming back.
Okay.
Randy
but I'm
Gregory,
not. Okay, Randy Gregory.
He's going to be back next week. So he's the guy that you got to look at. Leighton Vander Esch, I think he makes this defense so much better because Leighton Vander Esch is a much better middle linebacker than Joe Thomas. Don't get me wrong. Joe Thomas is good if he's a backup. But, Leighton Vander Esch makes them better.
Yes.
You get Cheeto back. You get Anthony Brown back. A guy that I don't think they're playing that I want to see, Reggie Robinson. I want to see him get some run.
Bradley Anai.
Yeah, he's another guy that I would like to see them get some snaps. But see, some of these guys are not getting snaps because of how the games are going.
Right.
Dallas never has a lead, so they can't stick the young guys in there.
Right.
So that's a big problem. But when you look at some of the guys coming back, I don't want to judge this defense until I see all of them.
Okay.
But the product on the field right now is terrible.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Very fair.
But let's see how they look when those guys start coming back. And I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, let's just tank for this," or do all that. No.
Yeah,
let's see them come back. Let's see them go to the playoffs if they can make that run, and see what happens. Because that's all it takes. Because I know we hate the Eagles, and we all made fun of them that year that they made that run. I was like, there ain't no way they're going anywhere in the playoffs.
Right.
And then they made that run. I mean, it's just who gets hot.
True story.
And we finally have a head coach that's actually been there, as a coach, not as a player, but, he's done it, playoff runs, Super Bowl runs. And so that's where I'm at. Let's get there first, but, get the guys back and then hopefully you can figure out some things on offense obviously the offense is scoring a ton of points, but, can we sustain drives? Can we play keep away? Can we protect that defense a little bit? That's one thing I want to look and see. And I think it starts with getting a lead and running the football.
That's very fair what you're saying, because it is the first part of the season. They always say if you're going to struggle, you want to struggle early and not late. So that's the good thing, that it is happening early and these things can be corrected. And like you said, they're getting a Vander Esch back. He's starting to work his way back into practice. McCarthy said today they're getting Anthony Brown back. I ain't excited, but we need him. We need some help. Cheeto, I am kind of happy about Cheeto because I don't think Cheeto's a bad player. And then hopefully Sean Lee will be coming back. Randy Gregory will be coming back, and these are all defensive players, not offensive players. So like you said, that's a good thing. And if those guys can stay healthy that are coming back with the guys that are on the field, I want to see what's going to happen. But to me, I really don't feel like I'm not saying Mike Nolan's a great coordinator or nothing like that. But when I watch these games, I see effort. That's just my opinion, big dog. I see effort. I see things that you could have made that play, but you didn't go hard enough. And I need the players to go ahead. I don't know if y'all like Mike Nolan or not, but y'all need to dig deep within and save the season, because the offense has proven that we can score. The offense has proven that we can move the ball anytime we want. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't been a team that we played so far that we haven't been able to move the ball, but we just shot ourselves in the foot with bad turnovers, bad penalties, bad special teams, bad defense. You know what I'm saying? And the offense hasn't been perfect too, but if you're looking at the more positive out of the whole team, it's got to be the offense. You get what I mean? It has to be. So if the defense can just do a little bit better, man, the defense can just be average for real, because it's below average right now. If the defense can just be average with this offense that is explosive as it is, we can make a run. But guys have to really dig deep right now, really get, in my opinion, Pat, desperate, not shortcutting your assignments and things like that, but that desperate mentality that every time we go in here thinking, nah, dog, we can't slip on no team. We got to bring it every single game. And I feel like sometimes the Cowboys get a lackadaisical attitude, lose a little focus, and that's when you see the fumbles. That's when you see the penalties, because I don't think that's just. I think that's focusing as well. What's your kind of thoughts on that as we get ready to close this out?
One of the big things that I had heard was Dalton Schultz was talking about Dak Prescott, and he said, "We know when 4 comes to the huddle, he's got this, right? You know that guy you can lean on." My question is, and what we need to find out, who's that guy for the defense that they come to the huddle and they know that he is going to lead this defense for them? Who's that guy? Because right now they don't have one.
Yeah, we don't have a leader on defense, and that's the biggest problem. We don't have no alpha dogs. That's what I said, because, D-Law talks it, but he ain't walking it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. And that's why I feel like that's where we missed the Gerald McCoy. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the leadership that we missed, because I feel like Gerald McCoy, in my opinion, if the defense was playing like this, he'd be very vocal right now. I think he'd be one of the more vocal people on that defense saying, "Hey, man, what the hell is this?" You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? And, I don't know if people, just in my opinion, Pat, I don't know if the guys are looking at D-Law like, yeah, you right, let's go do this, because the inconsistent play. Like, I know when I played and I had a leader who talked a lot, I looked at his actions too. I looked at, was he putting in the work? Was he getting stuff done? And when he wasn't getting stuff done, I probably like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't know I don't think the players hate D-Law or nothing like that, but I'm just wondering if they're looking at who is the real leader to say, we follow this guy and let's get this together. I don't know who that defensive leader is that says we follow this guy, because I know it's 4 on offense, Pat. I know it's 4 on offense because that's what I hear, but I don't hear anybody saying this is our leader on defense. Let's follow this.
I think it's got to be Leighton Vander Esch. He's going to have to be a guy.
He's got to stay healthy, though.
Right. What I'm saying is when he comes back, I think he's that guy.
You think he is?
Aldon Smith is that guy because he's the one doing it on the field. And so I look at those two guys. Those are the two that I would point out. I think Trevon Diggs has the right mentality.
I like Diggs.
I think eventually he'll be that guy.
You interviewed him, didn't you?
I did.
Talk a little bit about that interview with Diggs, because a lot of people didn't know you interviewed him, and that was an awesome interview that you gave with him. Talk a little bit about Diggs, because I love Diggs, and I know he's getting cooked up a little bit, but defensive back is one of the hardest positions to come into the NFL and transition to. That's just the damn truth. So you coming in, you're dealing with all-world guys, and they're low-key putting him on the island at times. But, talk to me about Diggs and, his mentality and what your thoughts about him, because I really like him, and talk about that interview.
Yeah, so when we talked to him, a lot of it was we were discussing coming into the NFL, obviously, his story, which has been talked about, and how he grew up a Cowboys fan. It was a dream for him. And the thing about him is he was a converted wide receiver, so he can catch the football. And you can see it when he runs, when he's playing certain routes. And so I think this is a guy that's going to work hard, that's going to come in, night out, do the right things. And the great thing is he communicates with his brother, Stephon, all the time. And they talk about, what did I do wrong here? What did I do right? So he's constantly trying to get better, not just watching film, not just with the coaches. I mean, he's constantly, trying to get better. And I think with anything, I think defensive rookies, especially on the defensive line and in the secondary, it's always the hardest to come in and contribute immediately. So I think you gotta look at that right now. And he's doing some things well. And I think towards the end of the season, I think it's going to be a little bit better. What we have to remember is these guys didn't have a typical season training camp. They didn't have the preseason games where they would acclimate themselves. So really their first 4 games were pretty much like their preseason. So now you got 12 games left. I want to see you give me that effort that I expected 4 weeks ago. That's the effort you're going to see. And I think Trevon Diggs is one of those guys that's going to only improve. And I stick by my preseason claim. He's going to lead the team in interceptions by the time it's over.
I agree with you. I think he still is. I mean, you got to catch that, Diggs. Dog, you got to catch it. But I feel like he will come around. I think this is good experience for him because now you're already in the fire early. You should be calmed down by later in the year. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing: he battled at Alabama, so it's not like you played at a small school where you didn't play against some of the best at a very high level. So the lights aren't too bright for him. And you got your brother that's already in the league who's pretty good as well. So I don't think the lights are too big for him, and I think he's one of the building blocks of the defense and could be a cornerstone. But like you said, these guys got to get healthy. Sean Lee, Lord have mercy, I keep calling his name. Sean Lee got to get healthy. Van Der Esch, and you got to stay healthy. LVE, you got to stay healthy. Please don't get hurt again because we need to see because that rookie year was awesome. I want to see you make calls. I want to see you put these people in the positions. I want to see this because I feel like you said the defense is better when you got a Van Der Esch in there. And then I feel like Joe Thomas has played really well in his time that he has, but I think he plays better when you get the Van Der Esch and them guys coming back and you don't have so much on him. You know what I mean? And we'll see about Jalen. I just feel like this is what Jalen is going to be his time here. And I don't know if he's going to be here long term. I don't know how long that deal, what's going to happen with that. But I just feel like in that aspect, they're looking at Jalen like, man, he came back from everything. It's a feel-good story, and I feel like that's why they give him a longer leash maybe than other players because of his situation. But it's hurting the team, in my opinion, and I feel like that's where the Joneses get in the way of things and not let the coach kind of do his thing. Because if the coach was feeling this and saying, you know what, I think I need to bench Jalen for a little bit, do we really feel like Jerry and them will be like, nah, you ain't benching him? You get what I'm saying? So does Mike McCarthy really have that control? And I feel like that's my ultimate question in my head. Does he really have that full control like we think?
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to play ahead of him?
Ahead of who?
Jalen. That's my big thing. Looking at this team,
I mean, if Sean Lee is back, I'm playing Sean Lee over Jalen Smith.
I'm just saying right now.
Oh, right now you ain't got nobody. I ain't playing March. I ain't playing March. I damn sure ain't playing a rookie undrafted free agent linebacker in Bernard, who I don't know. I seen his tape and
that's where I'm at.
I got you.
I understand the sentiment, and yeah, Sean Lee's back, sure. But looking at who they got behind him, and that's where I kind of question a lot of these spots is they don't have anybody behind them to play.
Right.
So we're kind of stuck with some of these guys who aren't giving effort.
Yeah. Got to get better, and we'll see. Hopefully, it does become better because, man, dog, if we lose these Giants, bro, I gotta make sure I got stuff in here I can't tear up because I'm gonna throw something. I just gotta make sure I don't hit no computers or I go outside and throw it and don't hit nothing of my electronics in here because I'll be mad at myself. Because, dog, we lose these damn Giants. And I just feel like, dog, this ain't going to be no blowout because even when we played them last year in New York, people look at that score. But that game was closer than a lot of people thought. They didn't really pull away until like the third quarter when they had turnovers. But Daniel Jones was moving that ball. But every time he got inside that 20, he made bad decisions. They were kicking field goals instead of touchdowns. But they were moving that ball against us with Daniel Jones up and down the field. You know what I mean? So let's not go in there thinking, it's the Giants and Jason Garrett, and we ain't worried about them because here's the one thing. Jason Garrett knows all our players and their tendencies, whether it's offensively and defensively. And I ain't saying Garrett is a guy, but you still know tendencies and you still know players. And guess what? He can be like, Xavier Woods bites on this all the damn time. I'm going to run this play. Or guess what? I know Jordan Lewis does this, so let's try this play and see what he does. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my little bit of a worry because he knows our players. Not that I'm worried about no damn Jason Garrett, but he knows our players and he knows tendencies. And our players go for damn stupid-ass play fakes. They go for dumb-ass bootlegs, like obvious plays where it's like, you really went for that? Like they just did it 2 plays ago and they did it again, shows you. So
they don't have any discipline, and it starts with the defense coordinator.
So we'll kind of see what happens with that, dog. But, man, I appreciate you coming on. Once again, let everybody know where they can find you. And if you're a Texas Longhorn fan, please follow him because he has immaculate stuff on that Texas Longhorns. But give him a shout out, Patrick Conn. Let them know where they can find you, all that good Twitter, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah, Twitter, @PatSportsGuy. You can find me on Longhorns Wire and WFAA for Dallas Cowboys coverage.
There it is. And like I said, dog, real appreciate you coming on here, taking out your time of your evening. And we did the restream. I'm so happy. I'm going to go back and look at this show, the new restream. I'm going to be like playing it again.
You get a new toy.
Yeah, I got a new toy. I'll be like, I'm playing with this all damn now. I'm like a kid in the candy store. But like I said, dog, I really appreciate you taking your time coming out. Hopefully we can get this victory, and let's do another show again sometime soon. Hopefully the next time we do a show, we on a winning streak and we smiling and jumping up and down like, hey, man, dog, you remember when we was 1-3 and we was looking like trash? We came back. I don't want to have the conversation with you 4 weeks from now like, dog, okay, so who we drafting?
You know what? It's funny you say that because I start my draft work on Tuesday.
I know you do. I looked at your tweet.
Yeah, I was like, we're getting ready to do some draft work, regardless of what happens on Sunday. But it might be a little heavier if they lose on Sunday.
Yeah, well, we're about to see, man. But like I said, shout out to everybody who donated. Shout out to everybody in the feed on Facebook and the YouTube page. Like I said, it's the first time we did the restream, so maybe some more things will be coming with that. We got a good guest tomorrow, Burgers and Blitzes. Mike Tripe will be on here tomorrow. We'll talk some more stuff, Cowboys football. You know how we do. And get ready for this Giants game. And hopefully we see a different Cowboys team than we have seen these first 4 games. But once again, salutes to you, Pat. Salutes to everybody in the chat. Salutes to everybody on my Facebook feed. And we will be talking to you soon. One love, Big Game James, Patrick Conn, and we out. Peace.